like I said, man, I'm just I just can't even believe it, dude. I just can't even believe it, man. That I'm actually I kid you not, man. At one point, I legit thought that I was never gonna change. I didn't think that I was even like worth to change. Like that's how far low like that I got, and it's just I don't know, man. It's just crazy trying to just think of that moment. I remember that moment when I thought like that because I literally gave up. But I'm glad I had like a good dad, a good mom that just had like that faith in me and just helped me get through it, man.
So today on the show we had Brigham Lindsay. Brigham is the OG in pest control door-to-door sales. I mean, I had heard his name when I first started. The average guy sells maybe 150 accounts over a summer, and I just kept hearing this name, and it was Brigham, and he was throwing down these crazy numbers, like 15 accounts a day. He ended up selling over 1,000 accounts, which at that time no one had done, and so he was just an outlier, insane. He's mostly sold is 1,200, and he's just got this incredible knack for this. And so I met him, and he's very personable, easygoing guy, really humble, comes from a hard background. He delves into what he's had to overcome. People thinking he was a loser, people thinking he wasn't, going to become anything. And he got started late in life on a lot of things. Had to deal with really hard and bad decisions when he was young, and his issues graduating high school, the whole thing. Not to mention his views on enjoying the grind and how to get through things and adjusting your mindset to be able to connect with people. It's just, he's an awesome guy to talk to who's done crazy, like out of this world things. When I say 1,200 accounts, that's like a small company. That's insane. And the fact that he can be so down to earth is eye-opening. It's just cool to meet people like that. So he's got a great story, and I hope you enjoy the show. Yeah, Brigham, thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the invite. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. How many years have you sold now?
This will be my 9th year or 10th year. So yeah, I started back in 2012. It was my first year. So I guess this will be my 9th summer coming up. I should know that. 9 or 10 years. One of those two.
Oh, yeah, the big decade.
Going on a decade.
Dang.
Yeah.
All with the same company?
All with the same company.
Dang, that's awesome. Well, that's a long time. How'd you hear about Aptive?
So I had a friend that I grew up with, and I heard he made like $89,000 in the summertime, and that's kind of how I heard about it. And I just kind of put it off like, oh yeah, he's one in a million.
Right.
He's the guy that's actually making good money, but I would say the majority of guys aren't. So that was my thought. But then I just realized, he's just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I can do 1/4 of what he did. So that's kind of how I got pumped to actually go out there and try it.
Yeah. A lot of people, including myself, I thought it was like a pyramid scheme type thing. And like, of course, someone's making a lot of money, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
I don't know what even like pushed me over the edge eventually. Just like enough people that I saw that I'm like, if they can do it,
There's a lot of people out there doing it. I mean, just with Aptive, I think they're going to have like 3,000 sales reps this year. And so
dang,
it's insane. So yeah, same thing. I just looked at it and was like, man, if all these other people can do it, then why can't I?
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Dang, that's awesome. And how'd you do your first year?
So my first summer, I just did it was like a 5-week break. I sold in Orange County. It's kind of funny because my backup plan was go to the beach.
Like if you don't sell anything.
Yeah, I was like, well, worst case scenario is if I hate it, if I'm not very good, then I'm just gonna go to the beach. It's like have a little vacation, but that wouldn't have worked out because I was pretty dead broke at the time. So. Right. But yeah, so I sold for 5 weeks in Orange County, and I still remember my first day getting out there, and Chase Williams, he's one of the presidents right now, so he's still with the company as well. He wrote the pitch down for me. I'd read the manual and all that, but I didn't have the pitch memorized. Wrote it down for me. Went out there, started knocking doors. And I actually remember praying that the first one didn't answer the door. I was so nervous, like, oh my gosh, like reality hit me. Like, I'm actually going to try to sell somebody and they're going to actually give me like money for this. Like, this is crazy. And they didn't answer. And then the next door, I was like, okay, I hope this one let's just get it over with. Answer the door. I ended up selling 6 my first day, and it was really fun. It's actually my first sale ever. I still remember him. He was a Terminex switchover. Really cool guy. He just kind of like, yelled back to his wife, "Hey, how much do we pay?" And he bought.
Wait, your first was a switchover? He
was a switchover, yeah, from Terminex.
And you didn't have the pitch memorized?
I didn't have the pitch memorized. I was just, I did. I started practicing it door to door my first day. But it was like, sloppy. And I'm kind of glad it ended up being like that because I feel like it came out maybe a little more conversational instead of kind of scripted. And it's funny because he is so it was my first sale ever. And he tracked me down later to invite me over to eat dinner with their family. And I'm pretty sure that's the only person that's ever asked me to eat dinner at their house. So I don't know what type of like correlation or whatever that means.
He could like feel that you were new.
It was like genuine or I don't know what the heck, but it was fun. But
did you go to dinner?
No, he was drinking. He was driving around his neighborhood. I could tell he was drinking, and I just wanted to keep selling.
That is so funny.
So, yeah.
Did you know that you were like 6? Like, what did everybody think? Did you think it was a fluke?
No, I didn't know. I didn't even know what that meant. I had no idea because I came out late in the summer. It's just like the last little bit. And so most of the guys really didn't say much. But then I think the next day, like 5, then like 4, then 5, then, it was like consistent around like the 3s to the 5s, to the 6s. And that's when people were like, all right, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And I think literally it just came down to just attitude and just work ethic and getting people to like you on the doors. Yeah. So,
you think you do something different to get people to like you? Like, you think you have a knack for it or something?
I think naturally I love people, honestly. Like, it's just something I feel like that makes me happy, being around people. Like, I've always been a people person. And I've got like a little soft spot where it's not hard for me to start caring, about somebody. And so I think that I try to like use that on the doors though, like in a good way to where like I try to like picture myself in their shoes, and try to find out what their actual problems are and things like that so that they can tell that I'm not just trying to get them to buy. It's more trying to figure out what their needs are. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that just has helped me throughout the 9 or 10 years that I've been doing this is just trying to care about people. Which some days is really hard because you want the sell, you need a sell, and it's not coming. And it's funny. I guess I can tell you this little story that happened to me last year. It was probably one of my harder days in my career. I didn't have a sale yet, and it was like lunchtime, and got back out there, and I was just stressed, and I could tell that I was not in the right attitude, trying to shake it off, whatever. And it all boiled down to I was thinking about myself. Like, I don't have a sale. I need to get a sale, yada, yada, yada. And I talked to my friend David, and he was just basically told me, hey, why don't you just go out there and just, it's like going to happen. Like, the process, you're going to get a sale eventually. And just try to have good conversations with people. And I was like, yeah, he's right. Like, just need to have fun. I just need to like, look at these people as people and not just trying to like get them to sell. So everybody falls in that trap, I think, sometimes in this job. But that first store, after I talked to him, I sold. And I sold the next one. I ended up selling 8 in the afternoon, and it was all because I changed my perspective from me to, to just enjoying the job. I think it's just taking the small moments and just enjoying it. But those are like the lessons or the things that I've in my time, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree that it's the harder days. It's the ones that you got to push through, grind, jump over the wall, whatever it needs to, whatever you need to do to make it happen. Those are the ones that you remember. But yeah, that was a good day because one of those walls I had to climb over.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think people get too robotic, like in their pitch? Do you think it comes out in their body language and stuff when they're
100%? Yeah, that's a big problem, especially for first years, and because I think they take the training just like too literal, like they think that all it is just like the training, and as long as I say these words and copy, whoever it is exactly the way that they do it, then they're going to get sales. But the reality is they need to be like themselves.
Right.
And people need to feel that like I'm a human being or I'm a person, I have feelings, I have a family, I have a kid, I have a wife that I'm supporting, and they need to look at me as a person and not just like as a salesman. And I think it's just a good mutual kind of short relationship that you can create on the doors there, even if it's just pest control. Mm-hmm. So
you think are you doing your pitch different on different doors? Like, does it vary a lot?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So definitely when I'm in my zone, it's always slightly different. It's always slightly different, whether it's a small word here or there, but here's what it is it's conversational. It's the same outline, it's the same structure, but for this person, might get a lot more excited when I talk about ants and spiders versus maybe this guy, I'm a lot more chill and just relaxed because I'm just trying to feel the vibes of each person. So if I'm selling like someone that's older and I can tell that, I need to slow it down and kind of get to his level, then that's what I'll do. But yeah, definitely for me. And so I don't want to like steer people away from the process. Like it's still the process. It's still the pitch, but it's just little tweaks here and there. And it's normally in like paraverbal language and body language that'll change from door to door. So, but yeah, those are the days I do the best is when it's just kind of flowing naturally and I can just joke around with them. Sometimes I won't even start with the pitch. It'll be like a complete icebreaker.
Like what?
Well, a good one that I like, it's kind of cheesy, but it, works. If they come to the door and they're pretty jacked, I mean, it works for me because I'm skinny. Mm-hmm. And so if they're super jacked, I'll just call it out like, holy smokes, man, you're freaking jacked. And I'll give them a good smile.
It's working on me. I'm not even jacked.
And every single time it's so funny because, well, not every single time. Sometimes it gets awkward. But that's rare if you do it the right way. But it's funny because they get all timid. They'll come to the door super like stern,
Yeah.
And then he's like, holy smokes, man, you're flipping jacked. And then they'll start, like, no, it's just a shirt. Or no, shoot, I'm trying to get big like what's his name, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, and it's like they're putty almost in your hands after that. Like you can get, I've got a lot of sales that way. The little icebreakers if the dog's barking or one of them. I'm not too brave. I'm not like as brave as other people, but I've heard one that if like a grandma answered the door to get to like a good icebreaker, just be like, hey, is mom or dad home? I'm not that brave, so I don't do that one, but there are some funny ones that you can do. And honestly, it's just about like just being yourself and finding the little things, just kind of joking around with them.
Like, when you're going through a day, do you have fun? Do you like it?
Yeah, that's one of my mottos, man. That's one of my quotes that I like to just tell myself and my guys. Like, if I'm going to get told no all day, I'm going to have fun doing it. Mm-hmm. Whether that means breaking out the country accent or telling a joke or throwing in something weird just for my own entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm going to do. Because the reality is if they see that I'm having fun and I'm enjoying my job and I'm just out here being myself, then they're going to automatically correlate that with success. Mm-hmm. And it's just like that book, The Happiness Advantage, right? Like,
yeah, I'm reading that right now. It's a good one.
It's a great book. Yeah, the one biggest lesson is just enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey. And if you do, then you'll find a lot more success rather than put all that pressure on the journey to find that one little moment of happiness when you could have been enjoying it the entire time. And I think that's some people think that at the end of the summer, once they make all this money, they'll be all of a sudden happy. And then they could have been enjoying it the entire time. For me, I find the most challenging moments the most entertaining at this point in my career. Someone cusses me out on the doors, which it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens every now and then where someone will just be straight rude to me. I'll leave that door and take it as like almost like a blessing in disguise. It's like it's helping me become stronger. It's helping me figure out a way to be a better person or a better parent or whatever. I mean, there's every single, I guess, just hard moment like that we can kind of identify during the summer. You can take that and you can learn from it if you have the right attitude toward it. So
that's a good point. Like if you wait the whole summer, you basically like waste 4 months of your life so you can be happy after. I mean, I've had that mindset for sure. Cause I mean, it's a grind,
yeah.
And you're thinking like, I got to think about future me.
Yeah.
I got to think about me like at my house in September to get through it. But it's cool that you like find joy throughout the day and like you're able to actually make it fun and interact with people. That's, I think, unique, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if...
So what I've found in this job is that a lot of people become ungrateful. It's weird. Like it's crazy. And I'm not saying that happens with like the majority of people. I've just noticed that it happens where guys they've got this incredible, opportunity to make a really good amount of money, to be able to use that for good and however they choose to. But because the industry that we are in, there's a lot of different companies, there's a lot of people throwing offers at these reps. They begin to lose track and I guess value what they have right now. And they begin to be ungrateful because they think that there's always something better. And that's what really hurts them the most is the being like ungrateful. And I actually went through a phase like that myself. I mean, it's not uncommon for reps to go through that and then, fix it and then, change. But that's one thing that I've really tried to focus on, like in the past, just especially gear, just with like COVID and everything, just trying to be grateful for everything. And it's helped me a ton. Just enjoy my life. Life is a lot better being grateful than, being ungrateful. As simple as that sounds, it's shocking to see how many people don't do it, including myself at a certain time. But yeah, and on an everyday basis, to me, being gratitude is like the number one way to just snap out of a funk. If you just start thinking about, well, I've got a wife and kid waiting for me at the house. Like I get to go see him in a little bit, like, or just whatever the little things are that you're grateful for. Like you have a family, whatever, there's a ton of things you can write down and keep that in your back pocket for when you do start having a bad attitude. So
yeah, it feels like kids are really good at pulling you out of like the weird traps you put yourself in your head, like, oh, I'm not doing well enough, or like I'm a loser, or I'm this, or I'm that. And then you see your kid and like they don't care, they're just like, they want to hug you and they want to play, and you're like, oh well, to this kid who should be the most important thing in my life, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's literally the best. Like that's what life is about, is our family. And with everything going on with COVID, I mean, that's just one of my goals. I want to make sure that I live my life to where, it's this job, just because we make, really good money, I don't want that to control and me become obsessed with that. I want to make sure that I'm helping others along the way and figuring out a way to, just basically, because like we have a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of responsibility to use what we have gotten for not selfish reasons. And a lot of times it's hard because we want the nice car, all the other stuff. And I've got the nice car. But, I do try to do other things as well to try to, just make sure that I'm being a good steward of this opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it. I feel like genuinely good leadership here at Aptive has actually helped me become better as far as like the gratitude, aspect of my life and just being able to, like, they've got like a few really cool things going on with Operation Underground Railroad, helping
Yeah.
the trafficked children and all that. Other like really cool, ways to donate and to help out, and like mosquito, or the Nothing But Nets, the mosquito company that helps all the families out in Africa. But we have so much like opportunity to do that. I wish I was a lot more, honestly, just thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could say that, like I wish I could walk in here with just like not nothing, not a nice shirt on or anything, just be able to. So, but we've got a lot of, opportunity here with this, and yeah, sometimes we just take it for granted, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. Yeah. Like you set a new almost baseline for what's normal. Like I remember before my first summer, my highest paying job was like $11 an hour.
Yeah.
And then you go to the summer, it's like, whoa, like you can make so much money, and like it's very exciting, and if you recruit you get more, and there's just like it all feels very fast and very cool. Like why there's like this secret money I'd never knew about.
Yeah.
But then that goes away,
Mm-hmm.
like you get used to the idea.
Yeah.
And then like you're playing from this new baseline. And so like, well, if I sell twice as many, I can get it again. But it's weird how that happens, how your brain kind of like gets used to whatever your life is like. And that's why the gratitude thing is so important. Because you think back on, what if you didn't have Aptiv, or how, like, I remember working at Panda Express. Oh, I worked in like an 80-hour week for like $750.
Yeah.
And like scraping orange chicken,
Yeah.
and like getting yelled at,
Oh,
like
yeah.
mopping floors, and I remember thinking, and that's like a lot of money. I don't mean to talk bad about that amount of money, but I remember like holding that check, like nervous I was gonna drop it, because that was like my whole life, and it's something like Aptiv it's awesome, people talk a lot of crap on it. Like a lot people hate summer sales for some reason.
Yeah. Especially here in Utah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
I honestly don't really, I mean, I kind of get it sometimes, because there is like the parade a little bit,
Right.
but I think people are way too sensitive. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know why everyone hates it. But.
Yeah. My previous job, so I have an interesting kind of story. I served a mission when I was 25.
Okay.
And so I got back when I was 27, turned 28 like a month or two after that. I was dead broke. Going to BYU, Idaho, being that old. Most of the kids over there like 18, 19, 20. It's like dating was like, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
Are they going to look at me all weird, whatever? And I think that did happen. It wasn't just in my head. I think it actually did happen for sure. But it ended up, obviously like working out awesome. Found someone that I love, and she loves me, and so that's great. But back, going back to Idaho and just the whole, I guess, experience of being that old, starting, school and everything, being broke, it was hard because I was still borrowing money from my dad. I was just in a bad spot. Like I came from a bad spot when I was 20, 21, 22, 23. Like I was in like the worst. It's hard to even go back to that moment in my life because it was just so like different than who I am right now. And just being that broke, like, yeah, I worked at a job before my mission. It was just this like cooler. It's called Patak Meats in Georgia. And I worked at the cooler, and they were good people and everything, but just $250 a week. I did the math actually, and it would have taken me 15 years to earn what I did my first summer. Well, my first full summer, selling pest control, and that's not including like all of the, bills like living expenses, food expenses, and all that. And so when you put that in perspective, it's like, well, would I rather work 15 years to do that, or would I rather work one summer, even if this is much harder? Obviously, like I would much rather, go the harder route, and honestly, that's a way easier route in the long run.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, it's another reason that I'm just grateful, man. Like it's crazy, kind of where I've come from. It's a really I'm honestly shocked that I was able to get out, honestly.
Yeah.
Seriously, man, like, it's crazy. Like, a lot of my friends from Georgia that I went to high school with or anything like that, a lot of them are dead or in jail. Like, it's bad over there. Because in my high school, me and Chase, he's up here.
He's from Georgia?
Mm-hmm. We went to the same high school. My mom was actually our seminary teacher. And I think we had like 900 or 1,000 people graduating in our class.
Mm-hmm.
And only like 8 or 9 of them were Mormons. And so it's just way different than Utah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
night and day.
Big time.
It makes you like the weird one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
The weird Mormon kids that hang out together. I've lived in Utah most of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but my family moved to Maryland after I graduated high school, and it was so funny like to go down there, you know, and like, oh yeah, you're like the Mormon family, you know, like I never ever thought of myself as the Mormon kid or the Mormon family or any of that stuff, because like that just means like literally everyone else here, you know, but there. Being Mormon is very weird and very different, and they see you in a strange light, which is fine. I mean, most people don't know. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I was it Baltimore, Maryland, or
Gaithersburg. Yeah, my dad worked in D.C., so they lived in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they moved when I graduated high school, and I stayed in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually moved back to my same like neighborhood after my mission, like a month before my mission ended.
Mm-hmm.
So they lived there for like 3 years, but I never lived there because it was like perfectly during my mission. So I never like moved out there or anything. Yeah. I visited though. It's beautiful. It's very different than Utah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very green over there in the East Coast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things to do over there. It's just, yeah.
You have family and stuff there still?
So I convinced my brother, actually, he lives in Orlando. He's the one that speaks the Portuguese and all that. And then I convinced my parents to come to Utah.
Yeah, nice.
So I told them they could just live with me, actually, until they get out. So they just built a home down in Mapleton.
Yeah.
Just south of here. And so they just moved out like a couple weeks ago.
So they're no longer living with you? Or
So, but it's good because they still come over, you know, once a week, and so I still get to see them.
Yeah.
And everything, so that's nice. But my dad's always been like a big hiker, and so I'm like, dude, just come out to Utah.
Yeah. Like, this is like one of the top hiking places in the world. I think. Here, California.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love Utah. I'll be honest, like I love it out here. Good people, and then just there's a lot of fun things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mountains too. I like to be outside and.
Do you do like outdoorsy stuff at all?
Yeah, I like snowmobiling. That's fun, and then dirt biking. Anything with like that type of stuff, I love. Just my personality. I used to skateboard a lot growing up. So
yeah, I heard. Didn't the Royces, like Derek, wasn't he big into skateboarding and stuff like that? I think I saw
he's really good.
a video or something of him doing it. That's funny.
Yeah, he's really good. Honestly, like I was shocked. Most people say, "Oh yeah, I skateboard." Like they know how to ollie, kickflip, pop, shove it. He's like a beast. Like, he's really good.
Do you still skateboard at all?
I can't. No, I mean, no, it's not like I can't. I haven't done it in so long, and now I'm just like so much like physically different. Like back then, I was super short and skinny.
Oh, really?
It's way easier to.
When did you hit your growth? How tall are you?
So I'm 6'3". I hit my growth spurt in 10th grade. It was about 10th grade or so is when I really shot up. So
it like changes the world, doesn't it? Like being the short kid and being the tall kid. You feel like it's just that one perfect thing that gives you confidence. And you're like, thank goodness I got this.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, that's true.
It's like built in, you know.
Yeah, all my brothers were all taller than I have four brothers were all taller than our parents.
Yeah.
And so it's weird because like they're pretty short. It's just my mom's my mom's dad's my grandpa. He's like really tall and skinny, so I think we all got it from him.
Yeah, so my mom is Guatemalan, my dad's American, so like I'm a mix. And my mom is really tall for a Guatemalan. Have you ever met like anyone from Guatemala before?
Yeah.
They're really super short.
Yep.
And she's like 5'8". So I mean, she's tall. She's just a tall woman.
Right.
But all of her siblings are pretty short. Like my grandparents are like 5'2" and 5'1".
Huh.
And her brothers are like maybe 5'7", 5'8", so like her height. But she's tall. So with my family, my dad's pretty tall. Some of us just like got lucky. Like I have a brother that's like 6'4". I've got a cousin that's 6'8".
Dang.
And then some of us just get the Guatemalan gene.
Huh.
You know, and like my brother's like 5'7", maybe 5'8". So it's weird all in one family.
Yeah.
You know, just luck of the draw.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely is. It's weird how that all works out, but yeah. But so that's kind of how I got out to Utah, Rexburg, for a while. And it's, Aptive for me was just going to be like a one summer deal. Mm-hmm. But just turned into, I need some more money for marriage. And so that was kind of when I wanted to do it again after that first kind of initial 5 weeks. And
how many did you get in 5 weeks?
I think it was only 89. So I didn't crush it by any means. My one excuse that I've kind of had for myself as far as that goes, it was toward the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And so I was literally like the only one on my team out there knocking for like my last like week and a half, 2 weeks. It was tough, I'll be honest.
Oh, even though your first summer too.
It's my first summer. Chase got married that year, actually kind of like just a couple weeks after I got out there. So yeah, just trying to grind out there by myself. It was tough. So I kind of like fizzled out a little bit. It definitely did affect my confidence moving into the next summer, knowing that, hey, toward the end there, I started fizzling out. Like, can I do this for a full summer?
Right.
It's weird though, because whether you do it for 5 months or 5 weeks, for me at least, the hardest part is just like those last few days when you start thinking about going home.
Yeah.
Whether it's for 5 months or 5 weeks. So the next summer I went out and did it again. It was totally fine except for the last little bit. Started playing a lot of Plants vs. Zombies on my phone, sitting in the car. Yeah. You learn a lot, as you do this, and you kind of figure out what things you need to avoid, whether it's cell phone video games, taking too long at lunch, just little things like that. So it's good,
How'd you do that first full summer?
I did a lot better than I expected. I was thinking I was going to hit I did the math and I'm like, okay, well I would have hit about 300 in the summer. Mm-hmm. So that was my goal, was to hit 300. And ended up hitting 650 in the summer. So I was...
As like a rookie, basically. I mean, you'd done 5 weeks.
Right, yeah. So technically I wasn't a rookie. That was my, first full summer. And so in my mind, I was still kind of a rookie.
Right.
I was still trying to figure things out. Right. Because, the way that I kind of figured, I was just watching those videos. I just found one that I clicked with. Yeah. And took my personality and implemented some of his kind of techniques, and I loved it. It started to become really fun to sell. Mm-hmm. And once you hit like a certain kind of number and you realize, okay, I can do this almost every week, then it becomes like you were talking about earlier, or becomes like your normal. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of raising that bar as much as you can, where, a year or two later, it was, instead of just like 40 a week service, it was up to like 60, 65, somewhere in that range a week. And so it's interesting how just the little things that you do to change, it can increase quite a bit. I've always been a big component that this job, like, you can, like me going out there on the doors being 80% in, I can come home with 4 or 5, 6 sales. But if I'm 95, I feel like it's really hard to go 100% on the doors. Like for me, that's like perfection. Mm-hmm. I think there's always a little bit of room to improve, even if you're Elon Musk or whoever you are, there's nobody's like perfect. Yeah. But like if you're out there grinding, you're at that 95, 99% efficiency level, whatever, I can come home with 25 sales, 30 sales. And so I think that's a big kind of aha moment for me in pest control, is just knowing that if I can just put in a little more effort, whether it's in my pitch, whether it's my passion, whether it's pushing through one more objection, whatever those little things are, then your production just skyrockets I mean, it's crazy. Just a little 15% increase in output will give you a huge amount of, success in sales and just the amount that you're getting. So it shows that in the competitions. Competitions are set up to kind of milk and squeeze every little sale that they can get.
Yeah.
And it helps us sell as many as we can get. And it's interesting because, a lot of guys will just, it's crazy. They just start throwing down these crazy amount of numbers. They had no idea that was even possible.
The competition days are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching those videos about the Masters tournament and stuff, and like two guys going head to head, in the 30s sales. It's just, what are those big days? Like what's your biggest day?
So my biggest day was 31.
When was that?
I was playing against Donnie Mosier. He's a beast. He beat me in the Masters a couple years before that, and dude, he just caught me slipping. I went out there working hard, and he grinded out 19 the first day, and I was only at 14. I'm like, all right, well, he ain't gonna do it again,
Got lucky.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do that again. And sure enough, he cranks out another 16. And I got smoked. I gave it my all though. I knew I was gonna lose the second day. Like it just took me a few hours to realize I was like, I'm done. That second day, because he was just so far ahead of me, and I was just like, yeah. But anyway, I finished hard just because I wanted to finish that. But yeah, 2 years after, I'm playing him again, and he just beat like two people in a row and threw down some crazy amount. Like I think he serviced 25 in one day. It was a 1 day competition. And
word.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to, because like I hadn't even broken 20 that season yet, and I just planned out everything. I had my like honestly, I'm more of like a spirit of the law type of guy. Like I'll kind of just get things done as they come. And I kind of like the pressure a little bit. But in this moment, I knew I needed to like do something. So I prepared all my area. I knew exactly where I was going to go. I had like 3 different backup plans in case things went south. Mm-hmm. I had a cooler. I never bring my lunch. I always just kind of go to Subway or Jersey Mike's or something to grab a sandwich. So I had like a cooler full of drinks, food, anything that I needed. I had like 2 iPads ready to go, 3 Segways, 3 Mofis. Like I was like literally thinking of anything that could possibly take time away in the middle of the day. And so I just prepared a ton. Again, it honestly came down to gratitude, man, because I started the day at 8:30 in the morning, which I never do. I'm always like 10:30, 11, somewhere around there. Even for competitions, I don't like changing things up a lot. Like I like to stick to my routine. Mm-hmm. But that one I knew I needed to do something. I had to take a chance. Started like 8, I think it was 8:40 is when I started. Got a sale pretty quick, and then I was feeling pretty good, and then just couldn't find another one for like another 45 minutes. Found this nice couple, kind of older couple, brought me inside, asked me every question in the book you could ever think of as far as an objection goes or anything. Got through them all. I did get the sale. Then I accidentally looked at the score. And I never look at the score because I don't like to know if I'm beating someone, because then it makes me get complacent and I stop selling as good. I like to believe in my head that it's a,
neck and neck.
Right. And then I did see it though, and he had already gotten a sale and he was 2 hours behind me. And so I knew, I was like, oh my gosh, he's already selling. It was like 7:30 his time, 7 o'clock. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I started getting really stressed after that moment. And it took me a solid 30 minutes to realize, I'm like, you know what? It's okay if I lose. Like, I've lost before. It's not a big deal. I mean, I guess my main concern is like, man, I don't want to go out there in Masters Day and have some guy filming me and then drop a 0 or a 1, I mean, I guess everybody has that fear. But it just kind of boiled down to, I'm just grateful for this moment. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's probably my last time ever being in the Masters Championship. Mm-hmm. And I just started to like soak all the moments in, and I smiled, and I realized I was putting way too much pressure on myself, and it's all good. I had nothing to prove. Like it was all good, and I ended up starting to crank them out. after that feeling of like gratitude overcame me, I can't even really explain. It was like a euphoric feeling. It's like completely different me. I began to be happy again, excited, and like I was able to actually enjoy the competition. Mm-hmm. And I ended up selling like 7 in a row.
Seven
houses? 7 houses in a row. And I had 18 before lunch. I was on my phone with my brother, and I'm like, hang on a second. And I'd like get a sale. I'm like, all right. And like anyway, like it was just crazy, man. Like it was insane.
18 before, so like noon, or did you take a late lunch?
No, I take late lunch. It was like 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you just eat in your car?
Yeah. So what I did is I actually didn't even take a lunch though. I would just like segue back to my truck if I needed a little snack, because I didn't want to like get my stomach super full, so I'd be tired. Mm-hmm. So anytime like I needed a snack or something, I just segue on back to the truck, eat a granola bar, drink a Coke or whatever it was, a lot of Powerade and water. So that's kind of that was my game plan. Every time, like really it came down to every time I got in zombie mode. Uh-huh. That was kind of my game plan, because I knew that no matter what, as you're out there knocking all day, you're going to have moments where your pitch is it's just not a good pitch. Yeah. You begin to get into zombie mode. Mm-hmm. And so rather than just like let that linger on, I would just take a break right then and there, take a little refresher, and then that next door felt fresh again, and so that was kind of what helped me as well. But yeah, and then I stayed out all the way till like 10:30 that night too.
And people were chill with you knocking on their door?
No, but I was in a good zone. I was like in a good like mental state to where even if they answered super negatively or kind of like suspicious, I was able to figure out a way to kind of make them let their guard down a little bit and just look at me as, let's just give this old goofy guy a shot.
Like what would you say to someone that comes to the door, it's 10 o'clock at night? How do you diffuse that?
A lot of it's just like smiles and just like good eye contact, kind of just good wholesome eye contact. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry, I know it's late. I'll be quick. Apologize again. I'm with Active Pest Control. You may have seen my truck out. I take care of Dane. At this point, I'm re-knocking too in the same area, and so my confidence was sky high.
Yeah, because it's like I had Dane and Chris and Mark and
absolutely, yep. And so they know them, and so once you start actually naming people that they know and they can see that you're a legit guy, then it begins to be like, who is this guy at my door? To maybe I should listen to him because he actually has something that maybe I need. And then from there, you can work the sale. But that's why it's super important to kind of, get that first couple for the day, because then you have names to drop, your confidence is high, and you're able to overcome those moments where people answer the door all suspicious of you or whatever. Yeah, my last one was at 10:30 at night. He was a fireman. And the only reason I knocked that one was because I thought I was at 29 for the day, and I wanted to hit 30. And so I was like, all right, but I didn't realize I was already at 30. I had like, I don't know how I messed that up. It was because I wasn't looking at the score. And so I was like trying, and like, it was weird, man. Like I didn't want anyone to tell me the score or anything like that. So I was like trying to recount all the sales in my head. Like, okay, that one. So I'm at 29. Ended up being at 30. So I was glad it pushed me to hit 31.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would have stayed out. I hate knocking at night, I'll be honest with you.
Because it's awkward?
Yeah, especially I'm a little bit older, than like I'm 36 now, still doing it. And I guess it's one of my little mental blocks that if I'm knocking at night, I just don't like it. I still do it though, because I set that goal for myself, but it's uncomfortable. So
how is that with your family? Now that you're older, you're married, you have a kid, is it hard on your family when you sell?
It's tougher now with a kid and everything, because I have to like calculate and say, okay, well, I'm losing time with him, watching him grow up.
Yeah, definitely.
But the way that I justify it is I'm able to go out there, work hard for 4 months, and they're still out there with me. So I still see them on the weekends and, at night for just a minute or two, and then, in the morning time for just a minute or two. But be able to spend a lot more time in the off season with them for the other 8 months. So it's nice being able to wake up whenever you want, spend a little time with little guy, mess around, come to the office, get some work done. So it's a trade-off.
How do you usually spend the off season?
A lot of it's recruiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just recruiting, just making sure that I'm, staying ahead of that. Helping my guys recruit too. That's a big thing. I've always been the guy that it's been a hard transition from summer to recruiting.
Yeah.
I've always just been like a all in the summertime type of guy.
Yeah.
And kind of recruit on the side. But the last like 4 years, I've transitioned to be able to be more of a kind of recruiting role rather than just sales in the summertime. But it's hard because there's no balance in this job.
Yeah.
You're either super like lazy with it, or you're like obsessive with it, and that's kind of my personality. Is I get obsessed with whatever it is that I'm out there to tackle. So.
Are you competitive?
Yeah.
That right? Like, is that what you mean by obsessed too? Like, were you competitive growing up?
Yeah. So, I played baseball. I mean, I was competitive in that. Skateboard. I think more I've always been like competitive with myself. Like I really like skateboarding. And I think it's just I have that addictive personality is kind of what it is. It's not so much like competitive as far as like, oh, I want to be a better recruiter than that guy or a better salesman than that guy. Part of it is as far as like the sales side goes. But it's just more like when I find something I really like to do, I can't stop. I just can't. Like that's what I wanted. Like school, I didn't graduate high school. Mm-hmm. I can't say that I was the type of guy that did. Mm-hmm. And I actually dropped out of high school twice. Got my GED. And I dropped out of college. Mm-hmm. So, some people call me dumb. And I think, part of them is correct. But at the end of the day, doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because my dad, like, PhD, Stanford, my mom valedictorian in her college, and my brother's a doctor, went to school for like 14 years. And here I am, just a good old door-to-door guy.
Just the lowly salesman.
Yeah.
Right?
Just out here grinding and, making it happen. That's the best part about just where we live is that anybody can make it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have a GED or you don't have to have a high school diploma to make it. Just not a lot of people know that there's a lot of other ways to earn money besides, go to school and get your degree and do that for the rest of your life. I love my job. I actually really enjoy life with it because I have so much freedom. But yeah, some people look at that and, if they don't see things the same way that I do, they probably would look down on me, which I honestly don't even care.
Right.
That's the best part is that I really don't. So it's good. But yeah, my dad really pushed me to do something other than this.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like when? In what point?
Not the first year. At that point it was just like a little summer job with Chase.
Yeah.
Whatever. Second year is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Go out there and earn some money for. I think it began to the point to where I was like not going to dropping out of classes and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna put more time into recruiting, selling, and it just got to the point where I just looked at it and I was like, man, this is crazy that I'm not just going all in on this.
Yeah.
If I made that much money my first summer and it's nothing but growth, after this, it would have taken me 4 years to complete college, and then I would start making 1/3 the amount that I'm making right now.
Mm-hmm. And working all year.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Still didn't even know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I liked it. I was good at it. Really good at it. And so it just made complete sense in my mind. And so I just went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just, all in. And so that's just how I've been though, always, man. Like skateboarding, baseball, just anything that I've done in my life, that I've wanted to do, it's been all in. So, but yeah, it's been a good journey, man. Just looking back at everything. Right now, honestly, like to be straight with you, I used to be like not wanting to, give out secrets or anything or like trademarks or little like icebreakers here or that. Like now, I just want to help as many people as I can have a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's with this company or another company, like I actually really enjoy it when someone reaches out and says, hey, can you help me with my pitch? Or, hey, what do you recommend for a first year rep? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of one of my things now. I feel like that's a sign of me getting older.
Right.
So I want to pass down a little bit of my knowledge in pest control or just sales in general.
It's kind of a funny thing. It's like, who would have thought? You know, like it seems like when you're growing up, and you probably relate to this with your dad, like you're saying, it's like there's so many paths you could take,
Mm-hmm.
and you're thinking about like, I'm gonna graduate high school, and then I could go become my dad, or I could go become my brother, be a doctor. Maybe I'll be way different, and I'll like be in business. And I think a lot of people write their story, and when their life doesn't go that way, it can sometimes be painful. Like, especially, you know, like your parents, I relate to that too. Not my parents, but I've seen it with a lot of people where their parents wrote their kid's story. And then as they grow up, like they can find something that completely works. And not only works, like it's even more successful than the story their parents wrote, but because it's not like a normal thing, it's hard for them to accept. Like it's so hard for so many parents when you don't graduate college, because they always thought this is the way that you can be successful. And so if you found something else successful, it's not really successful, you know?
Right.
It's like people are always saying, get a real job, you know, with this. And it's so funny. It's like, what does that mean? You know,
Yeah.
like even if you have a real job and you're an architect and you're making like good money and you love it, it's still just you going and doing something at an office. I'm just doing the same thing, just not at an office.
Right.
You know, and most of the doors you knock on, it's like, well, I'm making more than you, man. Why are you telling me to get a real job? You know, people talking crap on the door-to-door salesman. And you're like, this is a career. This is a great job for a lot of people, you know?
Yeah. And the best part is like, just letting them get their little moment in time, you know, and just walking away and no worries.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no bothers at all.
Yeah.
Just go to the next door and keep having fun, because, and I think that's a lesson that I'm still learning, but I feel like I've gotten better at, is that like, it really just doesn't matter what people think about you. And it doesn't matter what you do in life. I mean, as long as it's what you're passionate about. I mean, I know people that go all in teaching, man. I got more respect for them than the guy that's making $800,000 a year, but you know, doesn't barely do it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, I guess, but
Does it really feel like it's like he doesn't enjoy it, or he's doing it for the wrong reasons?
right, for the wrong reasons. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like, definitely money's super important, and like it should be. I mean, that literally can change your life and make it less stressful. I don't want to say that money makes you happy, but it definitely, you know, helps with paying the bills on time and not making sure that you have a less stressed out life.
And freedom.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big one. Like,
Buys time. Yeah. You're
yeah.
right.
And you talk about having time with your kid, you know, that's something that money bought.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. And being in a position where you can help, like my parents for a long period of time, like they were there living with us for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's parents too, you know, and her sister, and adopted a couple dogs along the way too. And it's just one big, you know, merry household. It's just a good feeling to know that like we're okay, you know?
Yeah.
So like money definitely is important, but at the end of the day, like it doesn't buy happiness, obviously, like we've heard that before, but I love the people that are just passionate about what they do. I don't like literally like I will be best friends with the guy, like, and this is going to sound crazy. If I see a guy in here and I see him just literally scrubbing all the little, like, man, I want to know more about him.
Mm-hmm.
Cause he could have done whatever he probably wanted to, you know, he chose to be the best at whatever it was, whether it's scrubbing. You've heard that quote, right? Be the best sweeper you can be.
Yeah.
If whatever you were asked to sweep the streets, be the best sweep streeper there ever was. And I want to get to know people like that. I don't care really what they do, whether it's a teacher, salesman, you know, boxer, basketball player. I want to get to know people like Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant. Just people that have something, little screw loose in a good way.
Yeah.
Where it's like they understand the value of time
Mm-hmm.
and urgency and how important every day is.
Yeah.
And just being the best you can because it's something honorable. If I'm going to do pest control, and that's what I'm going to choose to do with my life, for me at this point, it's not about the money. It's about me proving to myself that I can go out there and do my best every day, and showing other people that it's possible to go out there and do your best and to go and to work, start early, go late, all that stuff, and to perfect it, to get better at it. That to me is kind of what I think defines, to a certain degree, a part of someone's success in their life is just how passionate are they with what they're doing with their life, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing. So many different like roads like you were talking about. There's so many different choices to make. This, whatever reason I went down this one, and I feel really lucky.
Yeah. I think people get stuck thinking that there's a right way to do it. And they think that for too long because of how they were raised or whatever. And so they might even find the thing they like, but in the back of their head, they're always, well, what's my mom think? And what are the kids in my school, from high school think? They see me selling pest control. It's funny that you were talking about not graduating high school. It's so funny to me that in the world you live in now, everyone here active knows who you are, right? And they're like, oh yeah, like Brigham, and like he's like this crazy salesman and all this stuff. And it's funny, what do you think those people in your high school that have no idea what you're doing, what do you think they think you're doing? Like what trajectory would they assume your life would have taken,
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like dead-end job, drugs, alcohol, like, yeah, I guarantee that's where I was headed for the rest of my life. I've just got an addictive personality, and it runs in my family. Like, my dad's side and my mom's side. So I've got a brother that deals with it right now. He's in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an everyday part of life still, but just not the same way. So yeah, it's interesting, and yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, man. Back in high school, I was just a bad person, man. Like, I was a good person.
Right.
Just made some really stupid choices.
Mm-hmm.
Really. I was smart enough to not do anything really dumb. But, like I said, man, I just can't even believe it, dude. I just can't even believe it, man. That I'm actually I kid you not, man, at one point, I legit thought that I was never going to change. I didn't think that I was even like worth to change. Like, that's how far low like that I got. And it's just I don't know, man. It's just crazy trying to just think of that moment. I remember that moment when I thought like that, because I literally gave up. But I'm glad I had like a good dad, a good mom that just had like that faith in me and just helped me get through it, man. Like, and honestly, like, it just came down to, I knew I needed a relationship with God. And then the missionary just came up at the right time for me. And it's weird because, like, I was always the type of guy that would make fun of, people on bikes with helmets, Like, who the freak wears a freaking helmet on a bike?
Uh-huh.
And they come riding down my street, like, with helmets. They just hit me up at the right time. Changed my life. And so, yeah, I mean, it's cool because I started to fill my life with positive things, like started going to the gym, started eating better, started to just do a lot of like positive things to replace all the negative things. And it's crazy, man. I pray probably 20 times a day to keep, to help me, to keep me on that right path. Like literally, dude, I'd get it. Like the place that I worked at, I would go into the bathroom and just get on my hands and knees and just pray like, hey, I could just keep going. So it's cool. But yeah, looking back at that, man, those are dark times, and just grateful that like anyone that's out there struggling with whatever that is, whatever, like whether you're here at Aptive or whatever, like, dude, we're all in this crazy freaking boat together. And like, whatever your belief system is on God or whatever, like, if you believe in God, like yeah, like let him, take the reins for you. But if you don't, like, find someone motivating for you that, whatever, and try to get out of it. It's possible. But yeah, like I said, I still have family members that struggle with it. My brother, he's in jail right now. He's in and out of jail still. He's pushing 40.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I've done everything I can. I literally have done everything that I feel like is possible to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't shake the addictions.
Yeah.
It's really hard, really hard. And so, like, if anybody can, like, understand that part of life, like, please reach out to me if anybody's listening to this and actually sees something that, hey, I want to try to change, I'd love to help in any way I can. But yeah, going back to like the high school, all my high school friends, dude, that was a complete joke in high school. Like, there's no question that they did not correlate me with any type of success.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because now it just shows that, hey, anybody can make it.
Right.
Even Brigham Lindsay, who couldn't get himself out of trouble in high school, and all that. So, but no, and I still do. I do have a few friends that have actually like gotten out and changed, and they're doing good. One of them created a business, and he's doing really good over there in Georgia. Another one started helping, like, he like started to like help in rehab centers and stuff like that. And so that was pretty cool. Seeing him and his, so like I said, definitions of success for me, it's yeah, it also boils down to just like choices. The choices that we make on a daily basis, for me, define my success. Whether I'm making good choices or bad choices, it kind of just dictates how I feel and overall perception of myself. And that's important,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Landon, one of the guys who used to be, he was actually the guy that filmed me.
Mm-hmm.
When I did the 31 day. I did not want him filming me, for the record.
I've always wondered about that. How does that go?
He's a good friend of mine now, and I've always liked him. I was like, man, he looks like a hippie.
Yeah. Oh, I know who you're talking about. With black hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, he's gonna like freak these people out and stuff, and he's got this like cell phone. He's like filming me, and I don't even know if he had the camera or not. I know one year they had like a full-fledged camera following me around. I was like, this is crazy. But forgot what I was gonna say about that.
About Landon.
Yeah.
That he sold like a crazy. He sold 1,000, didn't he?
Yeah, he sold 1,000. He followed me that day that I did 31, and yeah, but I forgot what I was gonna say with that. It's all good. He's a stud. Shout out to Landon and actually he was my lucky charm for that day, because I don't think I would have sold 31 without him there. So, but
I always wondered, doesn't like get in the way having someone filming? They're
does.
not like weirded out by it and stuff.
It just freaks me out.
Oh,
which if it freaks me out, then I'm freaking them out.
Right.
That's the thing, man. Emotion yeah, sales is definitely a numbers game, and all the training that we give and all that, it matters a ton. It's going to help a ton with whoever, wants to come out and do sales. But at the end of the day, like, sales is a transfer of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
And they are picking up on how we feel. It's not hard to actually pick up on how another person feels, whether they're calm, relaxed, happy, versus stressed, angry. You can fake smile that all day long, but they will eventually kind of like, oh, what's that weird look in his eye? He looks
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah, and it's hard to describe, and it's also hard to teach. Like, you can just feel it when you're talking to someone, like, when their eyes, like, move really quick or something, you're like, something's weird about this guy, but I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I can feel that.
Yeah. Training here at Aptive definitely helps. The talking slow.
Mm-hmm.
I actually noticed in the beginning of this, I was talking pretty fast.
Were you?
I felt like I was a little bit nervous or something. But then I heard you talking slow, and I'm like, I need to talk slower. Maybe that'll help me relax. Yeah, no, the training definitely helps. I mean, it's used every day. Use it with my kid. I got him to eat food last night.
Yeah, you head nod him and...
Well, it was more just like making it a game, but I was selling him on it. Like, we were playing Lion and Tiger, and he loves that game with me. So I just started using that game while we eat dinner. Like, hey, you want to play Lion and Tiger? Eat food? He's like, yeah. And then my wife just looks at me like, what? It's not supposed to be that easy. Because, you know, she struggles with getting him to eat a ton. Because he just got off the Baba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just crying all night. We did that like 3 or 4. It hasn't been more than a week since we've taken him off the Baba.
Yeah?
And just trying to get him to start eating like real foods and
Like
everything.
sippy cup then?
Yeah, so we just give him like sippy cup full of water if he ever needs it. But yeah, the first night of him coming like not on the Baba, it's almost like a drug. He's not on the Baba. The first night of him not
withdrawals.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously, dude. Like, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh my gosh, he was like screaming bloody murder for that Baba the first night. Just, yeah, it was like really hard to watch that. But yeah, so just playing like little game stuff. Everything is a sale, you know. I mean, I hope that doesn't sound wrong, but like everything is really. If you think about just how that laptop is designed and the aesthetics of it and the colors of the office, you know, everything is kind of designed to either, you know, attract money or for you to buy. Put you in a certain mood so that you're more likely to buy, like the different colors of shirts, collars, like everything, like the signs on the street that we drive down. And so I get that, you know, sales sometimes can have a negative, just negative like view. A lot of people just look at it as something negative, like, oh, you're a salesman. Like, the reality is, like, without salesmen, like, I mean, that's what helps boost their, you know, the economy. Every business needs sales. I don't know one that, you know, whether they're using some type of good website with a good design to attract customers, like everything is a sale. So it's a good thing to learn, and just applying it, like I said, with my kid and just other things to try to, you know, I'm excited to have that conversation with him one day to help try to convince him to never make the same mistakes that I made, you know, and to you know, and so I feel like I kind of understand some of the right ways to do that. It's not so much, hey, you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, but you got to give them reasons why and benefits of not doing it, you know. And it's the same thing on the doors. You can't just say, hey, you should buy pest control. You got to give them reasons why and the benefits to it and all that. And it's just like with anything.
Yeah, not only does every company need salesmen, but also almost every profession is a form of sales. You know,
absolutely.
Like if you're a doctor, even, you're having to persuade your patients. You have to come across as professional.
Absolutely.
You have to have authority. You know, they have to be able to listen to you, and you have to, you know, convince them to a certain extent that what you're prescribing them is better.
Yeah.
You know, and like you have to sell yourself in a job interview, and you have to
100%.
sell yourself to make friends. Like, you're right. People do have a negative connotation with it. And like, you don't have to go become a professional salesman.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. But you shouldn't think that persuading people and, you know, learning sales and paraverbals, that's only going to help.
Right.
Anyone, like in the whole world.
Absolutely.
That could never really be a bad thing. You know?
I mean, would they want someone to try to talk, you know, Kim Jong, whatever his name is,
yeah.
out of, you know, blasting a nuke?
Yeah,
Like a good salesman could give it a good shot, and he'd be able to be charismatic and get, you know, and figure out a solution that calms it down. A lot of it's just diffusing and just kind of, learning the vibes of the person and trying to be a chameleon on the doors and matching and mirroring with them and trying to figure out the best, way to transition and from having their guard up, and then now it's kind of like more of a conversation and stuff, and that can be used in all types of scenarios. I mean, what if a guy pulls a gun on you?
Yeah.
That's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
Are you going to get upset and get pissed and start yelling at him? I mean, that might work, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is interesting. It's like people use that stuff whether they like it or not. They're affected by verbal, nonverbal communication. They're affected by people's vibe. They like people that give off the right vibe. It's already part of their life, so it's good to learn it.
Yeah.
Like, might as well. I feel like everyone should do a summer. I really do feel like that.
I feel the same way, dude. It's crazy. Like, I legit do. Like, whether or not you're great at it or not, like the experience and the amount of like actual learning that you will have during the summer is going to outweigh the money you earn anyway.
Yeah. And even like there's two parts to it. There's like you can learn all these social skills, which everyone needs. Doesn't matter what you're going to do. You learn to talk to people. You learn to deal with rejection. Then also you learn work ethic.
Yeah. How to push through and overcome like a mental block.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What are you going to do when you're married and you have a fight with your wife or something like that, and it's your first year of marriage and you've never ever had to push through a wall because every single time that you've felt that wall, someone else has bailed you out and said, oh, you shouldn't do that or whatever. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stories that I hear from reps that I wouldn't expect. Like Chase, for example, he has a pretty cool little story. He was going to quit selling after like 4 or 5 days.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had dropped to zero his first 4 or 5 days. He called his dad and said, yeah, I think I'm done. And his dad was like, Chase, don't quit. You don't want to do that. You want to finish regardless, just for like your future. And what kind of tipped him really to go all in and start training hard and to actually like, going all in on this job was his good friend. I knew him as well. His name was Jeff. Came into his room and was like, hey, Chase, Vess, the CEO, he was their team leader at the time, doesn't think you can make it, because Jeff knew that Chase was so competitive that he would take that as super offensive and try to prove, Vess wrong. And so instead of bailing and saying, yeah, he's right, like I should give up, he started like really train, wake up an hour early every day, go all in, and I think he sold 5 that Saturday, and then every day after that he would sell, and he ended up being the top rookie in the company. And now he's the president of sales. And so it's like, if he didn't climb over that wall, like how many of those walls are people not climbing over? I mean, I'm not perfect at it either, but I'll tell you right now, during the summer, I understand the importance of climbing over the walls, because if you don't, it's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. And the guys that don't, I feel bad. Like, I would rather them finish the summer and I would rather do everything I can to help them finish the summer, just because I know that it's going to affect them for the rest of their life. Same with like my mission president. He would literally do everything he could to help a missionary finish, because he knew that if they quit or if, they got sent home or whatever, then it's something that they got to live with for the rest of their life. Yeah.
There's a sense of completion, Yeah.
And not to compare the summer,
right,
with other really, really important things in our life. I think it's just the concept of that climbing over the wall, and becoming better. Yeah, and when something's hard and you give up, the next time something else hard comes, it gets that much easier. That's like your knee-jerk reaction. Yeah, and so it's nice to be able to push something to the end, because then at least what would have happened. Like if you give up like a couple weeks into the summer, then like you'll never even know what it would be like. You'll always just kind of think to yourself like, oh, maybe I'd be good, maybe I would, maybe I'm a loser, I don't know. But at least if you finish the summer, then you can know you're a loser. Yeah. You'd be like, hey, just kidding. But I could like get to the end and be like, okay, well, there's not a mystery. At least I tried. But I think the feeling of,
getting that friction and then running away from it, it causes like long-term pain, I think, because you're always thinking, am I going to quit again?
Yeah.
You don't get in the habit of seeing yourself as the guy who gets over the wall.
Yeah, so that's something that I do during the summer is I set realistic expectations for myself, and then I exceed them usually. Like I'm not gonna make a goal to start selling on the doors at 9:00 in the morning every day.
Right.
I'm not a morning guy. I don't like selling at 9:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have my goal to start at like 11 or 12, no later than 12 or something like that. And so it's like I give myself these things to hit that I'm not gonna beat myself up over if I, don't start right at 9:00 or whatever. So
I've heard a lot. Just want to see how we're doing. Okay. I've heard a lot about your routine. I remember one of the videos I watched, you were like, I wear the same shirt every day. Like I eat the same thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do that? Why do you think, does that help you feel more confident?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's mostly just a matter of just like trying to like replicate, just like I'm trying to figure out like the best wording. Yeah, it's to help with confidence, really. I'm superstitious. Most baseball players are, though.
Yeah, it's a baseball thing, like jumping over the lines.
Oh, yeah.
And like rally caps.
Rally caps on. Yeah, same socks or whatever. And so...
Because baseball is a lot of failure. Just like baseball, you're great if you hit 30%.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I think it's just for me, my routine, I just know that, okay, I've done the same things that I've done all of the other days. Mm-hmm. And so all it is just, I'm going to have a similar result. I'm going to have a similar, I've already done everything that I did yesterday. Now it's just a matter of going out there and just putting in the time on the doors, and I should have a similar result. What I have recently, though, discovered is that, how much time do we have left?
About 20 minutes.
Okay. I'll tell you a funny story. It correlates to this. Superstitious. So anyway, Masters tournament. It's not the finals. Nowhere even close to it. Well, I guess I should back it up. So this kid wanted to come out and follow me on the doors. He was in Philly, and I was in Minnesota. And so he flew out just to follow me on the doors. He was a decent rep. Like, he was selling decent. And he followed me on the doors. That specific day, though, I was having the most horrible day. I was not getting anywhere in sales. Like, I don't even know if I got one with him. I eventually know I know for sure I at least got one or two, but it was bad. Like, I don't ever go less than like 4, or 5. Like 4 or 5 to me is like horrible. Mm-hmm. This day was beyond horrific. I was like wasp mode times 10. Uh-huh. You know what wasp mode is? No. Wasp mode is just where you're stinging everybody that you see.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're just upset. You're just upset and you can't shake it.
And you like bite them when they reject you.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, you don't want to buy it? Okay. Well, no worries.
Well, screw you.
Well, I'll get the next guy.
Yeah.
It's like bad attitude type.
I've never heard
stuff.
that, but that makes sense, yeah.
And so I was out there grinding, and he was following me, and I finally almost get a sale. I'm in the middle of it. Things are going good. I'm feeling it. I feel like he's, getting closer to buying. And then this black squirrel comes out of nowhere. This most horrendous black squirrel you've ever seen. Like, in my mind, it like had a scar on its face, like had fangs. And like it just stops in the middle of the driveway. Stops. He was buff too, this little squirrel. Looks over at me and the future customer who didn't buy. And my other friend and it was so weird that I stopped the sale and said, "Oh, it's a black squirrel." Like, I didn't know what else to say.
Right.
It was just there.
Look how buff that squirrel is. It's evil. Yeah.
It was just there, and so the guy was like, "Yeah, it's weird. I don't think I'm interested." And so he just bails. I'm like, "Okay, this is my cue. I'm out. I'm done. I'm done for right now. I'm going to chill in my car for just a minute," because I was beyond it. Which is, I'm sorry that I sound like such a sissy, because I know a lot of people go and they'll get 1 or 2 sales in a day and they're very grateful for it. And so my perspective was just, way different. So anyway, yeah, so the black squirrel happened. Later on, I have to play this kid, the same kid that just followed me on the doors, in the Masters tournament. It's at kind of like the beginning of the competitions. We're like round 1 or 2, 3 or something like that. Well, his entire team sends me pictures of these black squirrels at like an hour before I wake up. So all I'm hearing is my phone going zzz, 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 just like nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just getting upset because I'm like, really? Like I'm in the Masters. Who's texting me? And I wake up I wake up to these black squirrels over and over again. And they found the most horrific black squirrels that they could ever find on the internet.
Uh-huh.
Needless to say, I was stressed.
And the black squirrels didn't help.
Pissed. And then I had that black squirrel in my mind. Dude, I go 0. I couldn't get a sale.
So his strategy worked.
His strategy worked.
We can't let this get out.
Well, here's the best part. So then 5 o'clock hits. I'm still at 0. And I'm like, dude, I gotta shake this. This is crazy. You're literally gonna lose the Masters, dude. Like, snap out of it, bro. Like, what the heck? And so I sit in my car and I'm just analyzing things. I finally become more logical. I'm like, no. That crap doesn't matter. Like, I just got to do what I've done every day for the past, I don't remember how many years I had done it by that point. Or any day that I've ever done really good. These are the things that I've been doing. And so I just got to copy that, do that exact same thing, keep a good attitude, and I should, finally get a sale or two.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take me long. Once I refreshed and became more logical and stopped thinking about how that is affecting me, I ended up getting 12 from 5 to 9. And then the next day I got 20. It was a 2-day competition. So I think I ended up with like 32 total for the 2 days. And I think he only ended up with like 3.
Right.
So he was beating me 3-0.
And he's like, oh, I'm done.
At 5
I'm
o'clock.
smoking this guy.
Yeah. And then he started seeing me put on the gas. And I think he realized it was over. And he's, that's the only negative part about competition, is that sometimes it can be demotivating if you're just getting absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah.
That's why
getting wrecked.
I don't like looking at the score.
Yeah.
So, but that's the black squirrel story. I think it's kind of funny.
That is funny.
But it all boils down to superstitions and like, the routines and everything. But that's kind of why I have my morning routine. It gives you, I think, some small wins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took a shower for the day. Hey,
it's a good day.
Feel like a bum.
Yeah. I brushed my teeth.
I brushed my teeth. I shaved. I got Chick-fil-A. Some guys have a lot, more, I guess, productive mornings where they go to the gym and, they listen to a podcast or whatever before they get going. Mine's pretty boring. Mine's just a very simple routine, but it works for me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sales can really get in your head. And so it makes sense if you like, I like what you said, like, hey, if I've done this and I've had success and I'm doing the exact same thing, it's the numbers game is going to kick in eventually.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking to yourself, I'm doing something different, then that can get in your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, like I'm like not the same as I was on my big days. I must not be smiling enough, or maybe I'm like in a bad area, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can, like, the yo-yo of not knowing what the problem is weird, and it can mess with you.
Yeah.
And like, you can do the exact same thing on one day and get 10, and the next day get 5, and you have no idea why, for the most part.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I love sales.
You think you'll stick with it? Like, I mean, I know you'll probably stick with the industry, but how long do you think you'll knock?
That's the thing, is I legitimately like knocking. It's weird. Like, I like it.
Most people don't like it, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
but then again, most people don't sell, 1,200 accounts. We got to be a part of it.
It is. It honestly is a lot easier when you can sell 7 to 10, with ease.
Uh-huh.
It's with just effort, not still good effort, but, not to where you're killing yourself type effort.
What, like, is anyone in your family, so like, is it just like completely out of the blue that you're good at sales? Like,
no, my mom. I think my mom would have crushed it, and I also think my dad could have too, just because he has. It's like I honestly feel like I got the best of both worlds from both my parents, because my mom's super social, super outgoing, has like always people love her.
Mm-hmm.
She's very nice, sweet, very caring. Like she you can tell like she legitimately cares about people. She was actually like a nanny for an au pair company, so she was kind of like a counselor for a while. So she knows like how to listen and really care about people. So I feel like I do have a part of that. I don't know. I'm definitely not as good as my mom as far as that goes. Then my dad's like a very obsessive worker. He's like really hard worker. Anything he gets into, he's like, he doesn't even hear you when he's working type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like both of those combined, it's kind of a good recipe for sales.
Yeah.
If you're good, like worker, kind of sounds lame saying it like that, but good work ethic and just really good with people, I think is my strengths. And then I think part of it, like my personality growing up, like I was always kind of like the class clown in school. I really didn't care what like people thought about me. I'd say some pretty ridiculous things in class to get someone to laugh. And just that I think helps like break the ice with people, being able to joke around on the doors and just be myself. But like my mom, I think she'd have crushed it.
Yeah.
I think she would have. And my brother did it as well. He did it. He sold alarms. And he made like $25,000 or something for ADT. In the summertime, his first time ever doing it. And they wanted him to be a team leader coming back. But he decided to just focus on school because he's going to be a doctor.
Right.
So, but I always wondered how he would have done pest control because I feel like he would have crushed it.
Do they know like what you've done? Like, do they know how good you are at pest control sales?
I think they know because Aaron, one of my brothers in Florida, he's the branch president of this branch down there, and there's some missionaries that had come back from their mission to visit mission or something like that. They're talking like, oh yeah, we're gonna go do sales, and like, oh okay, who are you going with? Aptive, and like, oh, you might know my brother, and anyway, that's when
That's when he discovered. That's funny.
Another one of my buddies actually from Miami. He lives in Miami. I went to high school with him. A rep came to the door from Aptive, and they're like, "Oh yeah, do you know Brigham from?" Because I was friends with him in high school. Like, yeah, they knew me, so it's kind of interesting because to me, I'm just a good old boy. I just like to do dumb things with my friends and whatever, but. Sales, for whatever reason, this like whole industry here in Utah, it's kind of a weird deal. And Vess made all those videos about me back in like the third or fourth year of me being.
Those. I watched those my first year.
So I don't think I'm any like better, honestly, than some of these other guys. I mean, there's some freaking amazing salesmen in this industry.
I just talked to Chandler last week. Bergen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love that kid.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like there's a ton of good like salesmen and better than me. I do feel like the one thing that separates me is I got in at a really good time for Aptive, and I was kind of like their poster boy. Yeah. And so
well,
it's not like I've done
1,000 rep for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
so
when I was selling, no one had the second rep was like Jared Brown at like 800 or something, something like that, and then. Now there's, like maybe 10 that have broken 1,000, right, at Aptive.
Yeah.
But for years, at least when I was there was like maybe one or two that ever broke besides you, I know.
David
Daines broke it. Brad broke it, but not, I'd already left by that point. So it's like you and David and like no one else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't expect it. But yeah, it just kind of happened. I just literally just focused on the process, and it just happened. I just put in the time. But now Brad's a freaking stud.
1,200 is like your most, right? 1,200.
Yeah, that's my most. Brad's a stud. He beat my record,
Brad's
pretty
crazy.
much on another level.
Yeah, I've talked to Brad too, and he's crazy.
Yeah,
he's got kind of the same like focus. Like mentality. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna like do it. His
you're right, man. His focus is crazy. I've never seen anybody do so well like in September.
Yeah.
It's just like that's when I start to like. That's one of my weaknesses is toward the end of the summer. But again, I need to stop telling myself it's my weakness because then it becomes my reality. It's the same thing I do with sales though. Like I tell myself I like it over and over again to where I actually start to believe it, and I do the same thing with my guys. You know, so it didn't start off with like I loved to knock doors. It began to be like a joke. Oh, I love knocking doors.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of naturally happens where you actually start to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's not like you're lying. It's just you're just focusing on the parts of it that you like. You know?
Yeah. I love going to bed early. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to see if it'll work with other things.
I love eating healthy.
Yeah.
And I love complimenting my wife every hour.
I love going to the gym, and it's so fun. But no, I mean, I think there is some truth to it. Like if you tell yourself something over and over and over again, part of it, you almost forget that you don't like it, and you start to believe, oh, maybe I do actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. But.
Yeah, that's from that same book that you were talking about earlier, The Happiness Advantage. They talk about that. They're like, you do like parts of it, and if you're always telling yourself that, like, those parts will pop up more often when you're thinking about it.
Huh.
So you'll kind of actually start to like it.
Reprogram your brain a little bit.
Like rewire your brain, and I think there's obviously like a limit. I can't be like, I'm the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't tried it. That could work.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you actually see that with Trump. He'll like say stuff like, so often, and even you were like, "Wait, is that true?"
Yeah.
Where he's like, "I know more about nuclear codes than anyone," and you're like, "Wait, maybe he does. Maybe he really does."
Yeah.
It's just funny.
That's a good point. I mean, you think about how Trump got elected. I mean, people just want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And so like he caught the attention of the average American and all that. And he said whatever the heck he felt like saying. It was entertaining to people.
Have you ever thought about him on the doors? Who do you think is someone that would kill it on the doors, like someone that doesn't actually do it, a celebrity or something?
I think a lot of people would, man. But yeah,
You think the
Will
Apostles
Ferrell.
would?
I think Will Ferrell would do really good just because he's got like a good personality.
Yeah, funny and tall and kind of goofy. Talks. Very,
Thought about that, but I do. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I do think about that. I'm like, man, he'd crush it on the doors.
Yeah.
Watching a movie, like, this guy would crush it. I like YouTube guys.
Yeah.
Guys that do YouTube. And
they're like really like engaging and like really charismatic. I think that when I see people doing like public speaking, a lot of times I'm like, oh man, they're just like very comfortable around people and they're confident, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to take your whole night. We're about out of time. We got a couple minutes, but how can we support you? Like anyone that's listening to it, how can they support you if they want to join you, if they want to sell? Like, what can we do for you?
No, it's all good, man. I mean, honestly, if anybody just needs help with sales, they can 100% reach out to me, personal level, anything like that. Feel free to reach out to me. My Facebook is pretty easy to find. I don't really do Instagram. Us old folk over here on this side of the table, we do Facebook. And so
I still have Facebook. You got to talk to my sister. She's got the TikTok. So now I'm already shifting into the old folks, and I'm like, I don't vibe with that. I'm too old for that.
Just shout out to Vest, shout out to Aptive, shout out to all the guys here at Aptive, and it's a really good company to work for, and just really good people. Just enjoy seeing the same faces I've seen for 10 years and seeing how loyal, just everybody's been, and just watching, all that. And really, like I said, man, I'm just, at this point in my career, I'm pretty good where I'm at. Like, honestly, I could, if I really wanted to, I could retire tomorrow, which is crazy to say. And so it's just about, at this point, just wanting to help others. So, and I've seen that here at Aptive quite a bit. Like other guys from other regions are starting to help out, and they don't even get compensated for it. So, yeah, I don't really have anybody. Shout out to my mom, my dad. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Shout out to all the Georgia boys.
Yeah, shout out to the Georgia boys for sure, man. They're my boys, man. I love them. Still keep in contact with them, of course.
Cool.
So.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever in Arizona, hit me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll do lunch or something.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I appreciate it, man. That was a lot of fun.